Hey babies, welcome back to another Mono Blue Affinity video. This deck has Gingerbread in it, so I'm counting it as a Christmas themed deck. I'm playing the same 60 as normal, but in the sideboard I'm playing a couple copies of Orvar instead of Etch Champion and Curse Totem, since they're also pretty narrow and this one's really good against creativity decks. So hopefully we run into one of those to test it out. And let's get into the games. Alright, round one with Affinity, we won the die roll, so we're going to take the play. Our opponent reveals a Gigantha. I've been playing against a ton of Gigantha decks recently, and a lot of different types of them too. Alright, we have 2 on-tap lands, Springleaf Drum, Mimnite, Ornithopter, Gingerbrute, Thought Monitor. This seems pretty solid. We need to find a Cranial Plating or some other sort of actual threat off of the Thought Monitor, but we can play it really early. So let's keep. Drawing Urza's Saga, Cranial Plating, or like a couple 4/4s would all work very well. Let's play Springleaf Drum and just pass. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs, cracks it, getting Blood Crypt. Is this a Jund deck, perhaps? They Inquisition us. Alright, they don't have a ton of options. They can pick any of these 3, but they all kind of do the same thing for us, at least. Alright, they take Ornithopter. Looks like we are playing against some sort of Jund deck. We draw Thoughtcast. Okay, so Gingerbrute, Mimnite, Treasure Vault. Let's go ahead and play Thought Monitor. Draw 2 cards. We find a Relic and an Island. Not super exciting. Relic could be good against Jund. We'll see if they Thought Seize us or something here. Hopefully we get to resolve this other Thought cast. Opponent untaps, plays Stomping Ground down to 14. Cast DRC. Do you have a Thought Seize? Please no. They Inquisition us. That takes Relic, but it doesn't take Thought cast. Okay. They put Tarmogoyf into their graveyard. They take our Relic. We untap, we draw Frogmite. Let's go Frogmite, play Thoughtcast with the Frogmite, so if we draw Urza's Saga, we can play it. We find Thought Monitor. We will play you. Draw some more cards. Another Thought Monitor and a Thoughtcast. Very good so far. Wow, we've got a lot of cards today. Let's go ahead and activate Gingerbrute so they can't block it. Opponent takes 4 down to 10. And let's see what they can do. They untap. Opponent has 5 cards in hand and 2 mana. They cast Wrenn and 6. That is not going to be enough, I don't think. They can kill Gingerbrute with it, I guess. Maybe they pick up a land? They pick up Verdant Catacombs, okay. Now DRC has to attack, so I think they're just dead, because we take 3 down to 17, and they can remove 1 thing, but it doesn't matter. Alright, sweet. What do we want to bring in? If they're playing Lilianas, we might actually be able to get Orvar into play, but that seems really unreliable. Orvar is basically just for Archon. There's not really other effects that Loxodon Smiter effects are good against right now. Let's bring in Pithing Needle because we know they're at least playing Wrenn and 6. And because of that, we can cut down a Mimnite. That might be all I want to change right now, honestly. They're probably low to the ground enough that... Oh, they're definitely not playing Liliana because they had Gigantha. What am I thinking? So definitely not Orvar. Definitely not Hercules. Tormod's Crypt, there's kind of an argument for. Maybe bringing in Crypt and cutting another Mimnite is correct, since we know they have Wrenn and 6. And Crypt is good against... Crypt is okay against Wrenn and 6, and it's good against DRC and Tarmogoyf. Let's cut Mimnite and Gingerbrute, leave in 2 Mimnites, bring in 2 Tormod's Crypts, just so we're slightly less vulnerable to Wrenn and 6. Alright, we have a lot of low mana stuff, but no payoffs here. So I kind of think I need to mulligan this, because it just doesn't really do anything. Yeah, let's mulligan. Alright, we have Urza's Saga, Thought Monitor, Sojourner's Companion, Ether Spellbomb. Let's keep this. I'm going to get rid of the Companion. This is a very late game type of hand. Hopefully they don't play an Alpine Moon on us. I can't imagine they're playing Blood Moon. They Thought Seize. I assume that's going to take Thought Monitor here. And let's hope for the best on these Urza Sagas. We draw Memnite. Let's play Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays Bloodstained Mire. Cracks it. Alright. Getting Stomping Ground down to 13. Opponent plays Wrenn and 6. Okie dokie. I'm glad I didn't run out my Memnite. We draw Frogmite. Let's play Urza's Saga. Let's play Ether Spellbomb. If I run out Memnite, it can die to Wrenn and 6, but also if I run out Memnite, I can cast Frogmite and then start threatening the Wrenn and 6 possibly. So I think that's probably worth it. Also, this means if they Inquisition or Thought Seize us, they're just going to get nothing. So we're making any extra copies of this card in their hand redundant. Opponent pings our Memnite. Wrenn and 6 is at 3. They play Urza's Saga as their land for turn. They play Wrenn and 6. They play Haywire Mite and Dragon's Rage Channeler. Haywire Mite's probably going to take our Saga. It takes Silver Bluff Bridge. Okay. I mean, it's a similar effect in that we can't get constructs with this anymore. But it's a little bit of a weird thing to do, I suppose. Do I just play out the other Saga? I think I do. Let's attack Wrenn and 6. Down to 1. Alright. Opponent untaps. Their Saga rolls up. They play Bloodstained Mire. They crack it down to 14. They get a Mountain. And they attack us for 3 since they have Delirium. Makes sense. Opponent picks up Bloodstained Mire with Wrenn and 6. Plays a Pyrite Spellbomb. Surveils. They have 3 cards in hand. One of them's a Bloodstained Mire. And they pass. Okay. I'm not going to pop Aether Spellbomb to draw a card here. We draw Sojourner's Companion. Let's make a mana. What you got, opponent? Opponent makes a construct. Alright, let's get Springleaf Drum. Saga rolls up. Play Darksteel Citadel. Let's go ahead and make the construct with the floating mana, because that way I can use Aether Spellbomb to bounce a construct on my opponent's field. Ooh, and I can kill Wrenn and 6 this way. Okay. Attack Wrenn and 6. Do I offer them the trade for the construct here, or do I just take out the Wrenn and 6? Because they can pick up Urza Saga again, I think I want to just go ahead and get rid of the construct. Opponent Saga goes up to 3. They make a 2/2. They search for Mishra's Bauble. Alright. They attack us for 3. We're going to take it down to 14. Opponent has 4 cards in hand and a Pyrite Spellbomb they can activate. They play Bloodstained Mire, down to 3 cards in hand. They fetch, down to 13, and get a basic Swamp. Opponent plays Beseiju on our Urza Saga. Okay. Let's search for our island. Hopefully we draw something good, because we're kind of running out of steam here. We do have a threat, but I assume they're going to have some kind of removal for the construct in a reasonable amount of time. They popped Mishra's Bauble, which is interesting because now they can't block Frogmite without trading away the construct. We draw Thought Monitor. Interesting. How do I want to do this? Let's play the Treasure Vault, so Monitor only costs 2. Draw 2 cards. Play Thoughtcast. Play Springleaf Drum. Play Mirror Enforcer. Play Sojourner's Companion. That was a fantastic Thought Monitor chain. Attack for 11. I assume they're going to chump block here. They don't chump block, they trade for the Frogmite. Weird. Alright, opponent's at 4, and we pass. We have a Nettlecyst that can surprise kill them by equipping to Thought Monitor, should we need that, but also both of our 4/4s are lethal right now, and I don't think they should be able to deal with our current board. They definitely can't deal enough damage to kill us this turn. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs, 3 cards in hand. Attacks for 3, we're going to take it down to 11. Okie dokie. And what you got, opponent? Opponent taps some mana, untaps some mana, cracks Verdant Catacombs down to 3, gets a basic forest and plays Fable the Mirrorbreaker Surveilling. That chump blocks the construct. Okay. They have to have exactly 2 Unholy Heats to kill both of these, I think is the only way they survive here. Play the bridge. Attack with everybody. Do you have the 2 removal spells you need? Hooray! Alright, round 2 with Affinity. We won the die roll again, so we're going to take the play. We have 2 lands, Mistvault Bridge and Urza's Saga, Relic, Memnite, Cranial Plating, Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor. Seems pretty good. We need to find a 3rd land relatively quickly, ideally, so that we can actually make constructs with Urza's Saga, but honestly it's not the end of the world if we don't, because we can just ramp a little bit off of the Urza's Saga 3, and then cast either Thoughtcast or Thought Monitor, depending on how much we've developed. Let's keep. Opponent mulligans to 6. Alright, let's play Mistvault Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays Urza's Mine, plays Chromatic Star. Well, we know what our opponent's playing. Can we race Tron with this hand? We draw Urza's Saga, okay. Let's go Cranial Plating, Memnite. Since they're Tron, they're probably not going to get rid of the Memnite. At least hopefully not. Opponent cracks Chromatic Star. Plays Power Plant, plays Sylvan Scrying. So they're definitely going to have Tron next turn. We untap, we draw. Darksteel Citadel, okay. Saga ticks up to 2. Let's play Darksteel Citadel. Attack for 1 with Memnite, pass the turn. Hopefully we dodge KGC here. We can sort of threaten the KGC, but not very well. They do still have a full grip, so we can probably swing in with the construct under an Ensnaring Bridge. Opponent plays Chromatic Sphere. Looks like they don't have what they need. Okay, they play Wormcoil Engine. And I think we win now, because we can make a construct, we can bounce the Wormcoil Engine, and we can equip Cranial Plating, and I think that's going to be enough. I'm definitely going to do the math first to see, but... Okay, so we have 6 currently. I can tap, make a construct. That puts us up to 6 artifacts. Get Aether Spellbomb, that's not going to count as an artifact because I'm going to bounce Wormcoil Engine with it. Okay, so I can't do that because I need to have another blue source. Okay, so I'm just going to float a mana here. Trigger resolves, get Aether Spellbomb. Play Urza's Saga. Okay. Play Relic of Progenitus. Equip. Here. Cast you. 16, 17. Do I not have enough artifacts? It looks like I don't. I can make them recast the Worm Coil Engine next turn, and honestly, that's kind of fine. Yeah, let's do that. Attack, attack. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop Relic since it doesn't do anything against them. Opponent's at 4. Do I want to do that, or do I just want to reassign Cranial Plating? I think I want to reassign Cranial Plating to Memnite. That uses my mana a little bit better. Alright, opponent's at 4. They have Worm Coil Engine in their hand. We don't know what else they have. They're going to crack Chromatic Sphere for a green. Play Urza's Tower. Do they have Ulamog? They do have Ulamog. Fuck. Well, that's annoying. They probably take Cranial Plating Construct here, I assume. Yep, they hit Cranial Plating and Construct. Okay. And our Ether Spell Bomb is gone, so we're not going to be able to bounce the Ulamog away. We untap. We draw an Ornithopter. Saga ticks up. I could just play Thought Monitor and pass. That can threaten them. I can threaten them decently well. Yeah, I think I want the flyer rather than just a construct here. I need to play Ornithopter first. If I draw an untapped land, that's great because I still get a construct, but the construct is going to be able to be blocked by the Worm Coil Engine in a second anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter. Let's go ahead and pop Relic. Well, let's play Mirror Enforcer first. Pop Relic. See if we get anything good. Welding Jar, that's okay. Here's what I do. I go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent's going to block the Sojourner's Companion, of course. I'm going to regen the Sojourner's Companion. They're going to take 1, so they're going to be at 3. And then next turn they can play Worm Coil Engine, and my Urza Saga is going to ult. I can get Shadow Spear, put it on Thought Monitor, and kill them if they only have stuff on the ground. Opponent taps some mana, plays Chromatic Sphere, cracks it for green, plays Ancient Stirrings, gets Oblivion Stone. They play Oblivion Stone. They have just enough mana to crack it. That's really unfortunate for us since they have their indestructible Ulamog too. And since we used the Welding Jar aggressively last turn. Opponent goes to combat. Doesn't attack. What? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, they could definitely activate Oblivion Stone if they want to, so I guess they're just waiting rather than attacking us. Wish we had main deck Pithing Needle right now. So I can make a construct, but there's not much of a reason to. So I think it's better to just float the mana. Opponent cracks Oblivion Stone, kills our shit. We search. What options do we have? Gingerbrute can get in this turn, so that's kind of interesting. I think I do just get the Gingerbrute here. Let's play Thoughtcast. Come on, Cranial Plating. Thought Monitor, that's decent. Play Misfault Bridge. Play Thought Monitor. Now we're back to having them dead relatively soon. Draw a couple cards. Springleaf Drum, Sojourner's Companion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Springleaf Drum. Cast Sojourner's Companion for free. Activate Gingerbrute, like so. And attack for 1. Opponent takes it down to 2. Okay. We are close to having them dead again. That was a really good string of draws for us. Opponent untaps. They play Sanctum of Ugin. Casting Karn the Great Creator. Okay, we can't activate Gingerbrute and we can't cast things that cost mana anymore. They get Walking Ballista, so that's a way that they can kill Thought Monitor, and I think we're basically just dead now, unfortunately. They play Walking Ballista X4, cracking Sanctum of Ugin. They get another Ulamog. They're playing 2 Ulamogs? Is that even normal? I thought they only played 1 in Green Tron these days. It's a little, unfortunate. But yeah, KGC, we can't kill the KGC, so this game's basically over. I might as well just concede. We'll see what we draw, I guess. Thought Monitor, can't play it. Alright, scoop it up. Unfortunate. Alright, we get a bunch of Damping Spheres and we get Pithing Needle. Against Eldrazi Tron, I like to bring in Metallic Rebukes and sometimes some amount of Hurkles, but I don't think it's necessary against regular Green Tron. You just kind of want to race them to the best of your ability. Let's get rid of Nettle Cyst. Let's get rid of both the Relics. And Shadow Spear's kind of bad. They do have some blockers, technically. Gingerbrute's fine. I think I want all the free stuff possible. Let's get rid of the Shadow Spear. Run it like that. Alright, we'll take the play. We have Treasure Vault, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Gingerbrute, Ether Spellbomb, Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor. So this can play Thoughtcast on turn 2, maybe Thought Monitor on turn 2. Let's keep. We're still looking for a clock, but we have a bunch of draws. Drawing a Damping Sphere would also be fantastic for us, of course. Opponent mulligans to 6. Opponent mulligans to 5. And they keep 5. Alright, let's play Treasure Vault, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Gingerbrute, and attack for 1. Opponent plays Urza's Tower and Chromatic Star. Alright. We untap, we draw, Thoughtcast. Let's go Thoughtcast, Darksteel Citadel, Ether Spellbomb, Frogmite, go to combat. Do I pop the Ether Spellbomb to draw a card, or do I leave it for now? I think I leave it for now since we know that they have Worm Coil Engines, possibly. Opponent plays Power Plant, and passes. Okay. Are they missing their scrying, or do they just have a natural Tron and don't care? We will see. We draw an island. That means we can cast both of our draw spells this turn. Let's play Thought Monitor, draw 2. Not very exciting. Play island, play Thoughtcast. We found a Cranial Plating for next turn. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Opponent's at 15. Let's pass the turn. Hopefully we can get it by surprise with this Cranial Plating next turn. Opponent plays Urza's Mine. They do have natural Tron. Opponent plays KGC. In response, let's... Do I even draw a card with Ether Spellbomb here? Because I can just get rid of Karn by attacking it. Yeah, let's just let it resolve. They can get Ensnaring Bridge. They can cast it, but they'll have 3 cards in their hand. So what else could they get? Opponent finds a Walking Ballista. Okay. Walking Ballista's at 1. We draw Mirror Enforcer. Okay. So they can block Frogmite, kill Gingerbrute, and then Karn only takes 2. Let's go to combat. Attack Karn. Attack Karn. Attack Karn. Opponent blocks Frogmite. Yep. Kills Gingerbrute. Yep. Alright, Karn's at 1, so it can't wish again. We can play Mirror Enforcer. We can play Bridge, and I think I still want to leave Cranial Plating in my hand as a surprise. Alright, opponent pluses Karn on the bridge, that's fine. Cracks Chromatic Star for a green, draws a card. Plays Ancient Stirrings, getting Oblivion Stone, but they can't both cast and pop that yet. Opponent plays a tower, now they can cast and pop it. It's so annoying. It gets rid of the KGC, I guess, but that's still very obnoxious. We draw Frogmite. I mean, I guess that means we still have a clock after Karn gets killed by Oblivion Stone. Let's go to combat. In case they have a Dismember or something, I'm going to attack Karn with both of the 2/2s and then attack them with the 4/4 if they let me get that far. Alright, they're just going to pop Oblivion Stone immediately. That's fine. They're getting to where they could cast Ulamog pretty easily, which is worrisome. But I think I just have to play as if they have nothing now and hope for the best. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays another Urza's Tower. That's a lot of mana. Plays Chromatic Sphere. Okay. Cracks it for green and draws a card. Casts Ancient Stirrings. Whiff. Please whiff. They found Ulamog. God damn it. Alright, it looks like that's going to be game because I don't think we can realistically come back from that. Unfortunately. Opponent exiles our Treasure Vault and our Frogmite. Alright. We'll see what we draw and then probably just scoop. Opponent plays Chromatic Sphere. They have 1 card in hand. We untap. We draw. Thought Monitor. I mean, I guess I might as well play that. That is something that could actually get us somewhere. Draw 2 cards. A very late Damping Sphere and a Cranial Plating. Opponent has 1 card in hand. So technically, if they just whiff off of... If they're 1 card in hand, whatever they draw with the Chromatic Sphere, and then their draw for turn is basically nothing. Because we drew another Cranial Plating, we could technically just kill them in the air next turn with Thought Monitor. So hopefully we can get there. It's possible, at least. We might have to draw a land, 2, or a 0-drop artifact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we don't have quite 15 damage. They had Beseiju anyway. And we can't search for anything because we already have the island in play. And Gingerbrute's in the graveyard, so we're not going to be doing anything with that. And they can exile us in 2 attacks, so we're dead. GG's to our opponent. I'll wait and see what we draw, I suppose. But I know we don't have an out now. Sojourner's Companion, and scoop it up. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 3, and we won the die roll again. We've been very lucky with that so far. This hand is okay. We have a cranial plating. We don't have a Saga or a way to draw extra cards yet. But I think because of the plating I might just keep this. Because this just does kill relatively quickly. Let's keep. We also have a Relic, so we can deal with graveyard strategies if we really need to. Let's play out Relic and pass the turn. Our opponent's not playing a Companion, which is nice to see. Even though 2 of them have been banned now, it feels like I'm still playing against Companion decks all the time. It just speaks to how balanced of a mechanic that is, I suppose. Opponent plays Plains, Ether Vial, so it could be Humans, Spirits, or Death and Taxes, which I think is probably what it is since it's a basic Plains. Unfortunately, the Relic isn't going to be very good against either of those. We draw a Welding Jar, let's go ahead and play you. Play Darksteel Citadel. Let's play Memnite Cranial Plating this turn as well. And just pass. Even though it could expose it to a removal spell, I decided to run out the Cranial Plating in case they play like a Thalia this turn, because I don't want the plating to be too delayed. Opponent plays Egon Joe. Definitely looks like Death and Taxes to me. Activates Vial. Putting Champion of the Parish into play. Playing Thalia. Okay. So it's some combination of Humans and Taxes, possibly. Because I don't think Humans decks usually have space for a bunch of mono-white lands. But this might just be a weird version of Taxes that has more Humans elements. We untap, we draw Treasure Vault. Let's play Gingerbrute. Let's put plating on the Gingerbrute. Play Treasure Vault. Activate Gingerbrute. And whap our opponent for 9. And we'll see if they have removal for this Gingerbrute in time, because I'm 99% sure they're not going to have anything with haste in their deck that can actually block it. Opponent untaps. Vial triggers. Goes up to 2. Opponent plays Cavern of Souls. Naming Human. Definitely looks more like a Humans deck now. Opponent taps 3 white mana to play Ranger Captain of Eos. Weird. Okay. Let's see what they get with that, I suppose. Champion ticks up. Ranger Captain searches. And they get a Giant Killer. Interesting. Okay. They activate Ether Vial, putting Thalia's Lieutenant into play. Is this a mono-white Humans deck? I haven't seen that in forever. Everything gets counters on it. Opponent attacks for a bunch. Do I just take it? Yeah, let's just take it for now. If I draw like a Thought Monitor and then another artifact, I might be able to just kill them with this Gingerbrute. We untap. We draw Treasure Vault. I can play Treasure Vault, hit my opponent for 10 with Gingerbrute. Or I can pop Relic, hopefully draw Thought Monitor and 2 artifacts and try to win. I guess we might as well try to win. Because 8 and 9, there isn't a difference really. All right, activate Gingerbrute. Play Mistfault Bridge. Combat for 9. I'm going to move over Cranial Plating to Memnite here so that we can block and kill something. Move over Plating and pass. Opponent's at 2. Let's see what they get. They still need a removal spell for Gingerbrute or a way to increase their clock enough that they can kill us this turn. Opponent plays Mutavault. Plays Esper Sentinel, 2 cards in their hand. Trigger both the Thalia's Lieutenant and the Champion of the Parish to grow them both. Alright. Ether Vial remained at 2 also. Opponent taps some mana. Untaps some mana. Goes to combat. Attacks, 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 attacks. Alright. Let's block the biggest thing. Let's Welding Jar Memnite. Champion of the Parish dies. We go down to 3. And we've got to kill our opponent on this turn. We draw Thought Monitor. Alright. So do I just run out the Thought Monitor or do I not worry about it and just attack? They could be playing Solitude technically, although it's not a human, so it wouldn't really fit that theme. Let's play Thought Monitor first. And just see what we get in case it's relevant. We find another Thought Monitor. Okay, I'll play you. Frogmite, okay. Now we have a bunch of blockers, so even if they deal with the Gingerbrute here, we're in a decent spot. Activate Gingerbrute. Go to combat. And die, please. They have 2 cards in hand. They could technically have an Aganjo, I guess, to kill Ginger Brute, but it looks like they don't. And hooray, we got there. Alright, what do we want to bring in? Pithing Needle definitely seems good. I think they're probably going to have some amount of Kataki or Stony Silence, so let's just bring in all the Metallic Rebukes. Let's cut both the Relics, since they don't do anything. Let's cut both the Welding Jars for basically the same reason. I think all their removal is going to be exile-based. And do I just want to get rid of Nettle Cyst, since it's expensive and probably going to cost 4 if they have a Thalia? Yeah, let's get rid of Nettle Cyst and just run it like this. Alright, opponents on the play. Do we keep this hand? The Metallic Rebuke basically can't do anything since we don't have blue yet. We can play turn 2 Froggy Memnite, which isn't the worst, but it also just doesn't do much other than that. Opponent kept 7. If I draw another 0-drop on turn 2, I can play both the Memnites and the Sojourner's Companion, which is decent. But as it stands, I could go Darksteel Citadel, go Treasure Vault, Memnite, play 1, play Frogmite, play the other Frogmite for free. Then I only have 1 mana and this costs 2, so let's mulligan, because it just doesn't really unload fast enough. Alright, we have double Thought Monitor, double Springleaf Drums, Sojourner's Companion, 2 lands. Let's keep this one. Let's get rid of one of the Springleaf Drums, I think, because I want both the Thought Monitors, and see what our opponent does. Opponent plays a Plains and passes. We draw Pithing Needle. Let's go Silver Bluff Bridge, pass the turn. No Stony Silence, no Kataki. No Stony Silence, no Kataki. No Stony Silence, no Kataki. Come on. Be cool. You play Thalia. It's not very cool of you, but it's better than Stony Silence or Kataki, I'll be honest. So let's play Springleaf Drum for 2. Pass the turn. Opponent played a Mutavault. That's a decent option for Pithing Needle. It's a bit better to hit Vial with it, but it looks like they just didn't draw Vial anyway. Opponent plays Esper Sentinel. We draw Urza's Saga. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can play Urza's Saga here. Pithing Needle on Mutavault. They probably aren't playing Field of Ruin or Ghost Quarter. And then next turn I can go Thought Monitor, Sojourner's Companion, and make a construct in some combination of those things. Let's just play Urza's Saga and go ahead and Needle Mutavault. And I will pay the 1 extra for that, because I would really rather them not draw extra cards. Yes. It's possible that the correct play is hitting Field of Ruin here, or Ghost Quarter, but we didn't see any of those last game. So I'd rather just know that I'm hitting something that actually affects the board in some way. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Silent Clearing. Opponent attacks for 3. We take it down to 15. And opponent plays Cathar Commando. That's probably going to take the Urza Saga, I assume. Yep. We draw Cranial Plating. That's a fantastic draw. Alright, let's go Darksteel Citadel. Thought Monitor. Draw 2. Other Thought Monitor. Draw 2. Play Sojourner's Companion. Play Sojourner's Companion. And we should be able to get it from here, because our board is very good now. Kataki could still fuck us up if they have that. They could definitely have them in the sideboard. They play another Mutavault. They tap 2, 3. Play Extraction Specialist. What does this do? ETB, return target creature card, mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it just gets Cathar Commando back. Okay. That makes the Cranial Plating worse. But they might also just activate this immediately. We'll see. Opponent does not attack. Makes sense. We untap. We draw Frogmite. Let's play Thoughtcast. Paying 1 for the Esper Sentinel. We draw Shadow Spear, Darksteel Citadel. Okay. Let's go to combat. And let's just go ahead and attack with everything. Hopefully they will go ahead and pop their Cathar Commando here, and maybe lose some other things as well. Opponent double blocks the Sojourner's Companion. Alright. And they activate Cathar Commando on the other Sojourner's Companion. That makes sense. So opponent takes 4, loses 3 creatures. They only have Thalia, and they have 3 cards in hand. We're going to go Frogmite, Darksteel Citadel, Shadow Spear, and pass. Opponent untaps. They have 4 cards in hand. They go to combat. They attack with Thalia. Okay, they don't attack with Thalia. That was going to weird me out a little bit. And opponent passes. Okay. They have 4 cards in hand. Realistically, I don't think they're going to have anything. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's just go ahead and go for the Cranial Plating. Play Treasure Vault. Play Springleaf Drum. Put Cranial Plating on a Thought Monitor. Tapping Frogmite for it. And opponent flashes in a Cathar Commando. I assume they're going to blow up the Cranial Plating here. I wish I had named Cathar Commando with Pithing Needle since they've activated this 3 times now, basically. Yeah, they get rid of the plating. We're still hitting you for 4 this turn, so it's not a crazy clock, but we are still getting in there, and we're going to have a Shadow Spear soon, too, that's actually equipped. Opponent's at 13, they untap. Opponent taps some mana. Plays Anointed Peacekeeper. What does this card do? I forget. They look at our hand, choose a card name, and make them cost more. They make Shadow Spear cost more. Also, yeah, it makes the activated abilities cost more as well. Okay. We can still pay for it. We have a shit ton of mana. That's fine. And this is a 3/3 with Vigilance. Okay. We draw Ornithopter. Let's go Shadow Spear on Frogmite, I guess. Do I put it on Frogmite or do I just put it on Thought Monitor and not worry about the Peacekeeper? I kind of want Shadow Spear to equip for less mana, but I also know it probably doesn't matter. Yeah, let's put it on Frogmite. Go to combat. Attack with the team. Opponent blocks the Frogmite. Alright. Takes 4 down to 9. We go up to 16. We're going to play Silverbluff Bridge. Ornithopter. And then put Shadow Spear on a Thought Monitor. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. And we pass again. Opponent untaps. Plays Esper Sentinel. Alright. Plays another Anointed Peacekeeper. I assume they're going to name Shadow Spear again. Yep. And attacks for 2. Alright, we're going to take it down to 14. We draw Metallic Rebuke. That's pretty nice to have. Go to combat. Attack for 5 in the air. Opponent takes it down to 3, and let's just go ahead and pass. We have Metallic Rebuke up. I don't think we can reasonably lose from here. Opponent untaps. Cracks Silent Clearing. And that probably means they're just out of stuff to do. Hooray! Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 4 with Affinity. We won the die roll again, which is kind of surprising. Let's see. This hand's decent. We have 2 lands, Welding Jar for a 0-drop, Relic, Cranial Plating for a clock, and a couple Thought Casts. We'd like to find another land. Let's keep it. Just gonna lead on Mistvault Bridge Go, I suppose. Opponent's also keeping 7, and they do not have a companion, so we don't really have any information to go with from their end. Let's play Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays Stomping Ground, tapped, alright, and passes. We untap, we draw Memnite, alright, cool. Play Urza's Saga, play Welding Jar, play Relic, play Memnite, and let's Thoughtcast and hopefully find a land for our Saga. We found a Mistvault Bridge, not exactly what we wanted, but we'll pass. Opponent untaps, plays Otawara, alright. So it looks like our opponent is at least a Temur deck. They could be possibly a Creativity deck, although I don't think they usually play Otawara. They could be one of the Cascade decks pretty easily. That's what I think they are probably right now. Let's go ahead and exile our Thoughtcast in case it matters, just since we have the extra activated ability here. Untap, draw a land, please. Opponent casts Ice, okay. So we're not going to be able to make a construct even if we draw an untapped land here. And it does look like they're probably playing a Cascade deck. We draw Mirror Enforcer, Saga ticks up, play Mistvault Bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play Ornithopter, and play Mirror Enforcer for 1. Mirror Enforcer resolves. Let's go to combat, attack our opponent for 1. Opponent takes it down to 19, and let's eat their Fire and Ice from their graveyard. Alright, and we pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They have 8 cards in hand after they draw for turn. They play Gemstone Caverns, no luck counter unfortunately. And they cast Shardless Agent, so here comes the Footfalls. Let's see if they're a relatively standard Footfalls deck or if they're like some weird variant of it. They could be playing 5-color and we just don't know about it yet. That does not look like the case. They're playing Blood Moon in the main deck, and it looks like they're pretty much a regular Temur Footfalls deck. They also have main deck Prismari Command, which could be annoying for us since we have a bunch of artifacts. Alright, opponent has a big board, and they pass. We untap, or the Saga rolls up, let's make a construct. Do I want to get Springleaf Drum so I can cast Thoughtcast, or do I want to get Ether Spellbomb so I can bounce one of the rhinos away? I think I like playing Thoughtcast better here. Let's attack for 4 with Mirror Enforcer. If they want to trade for a rhino, that's fine. The Cranial Plating on Ornithopter is going to be our main source of damage here anyway, and we can just Welding Jar Mirror Enforcer to keep it around for another turn. Attack for 4. Opponent takes it. Sweet. That puts them down to 15. Let's Thoughtcast, tapping the Ornithopter, so it looks more inconspicuous when we don't block with it later. They have to get rid of the construct somehow too to actually be able to attack in. They force, okay. They get rid of a Fire and Ice. That was worth it in my opinion. Let's go ahead and pop Relic, see if we get another Mirror Enforcer or something. We find a Cranial Plating, and we'll pass. That means we can resolve a Cranial Plating through another counterspell if they have a force this turn as well. It's unlikely that they do since they used it there, and we saw them put one of the forces to the bottom of their deck with the Cascade. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn and cracks it. Getting Steam Vents. Down to 12. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interesting. Opponent is very close to being dead to just this Ornithopter. This makes me think that they have a bounce ability for the construct, but I do want them to just go ahead and do that, I think. Blocking the Shardless Agent conserves a bit more life on my end. Let's block Shardless Agent here, in case they do have a removal spell for the construct, that is. We'll see if they do or not. We're not dead this turn anyway. Opponent Petty Thefts the construct. Alright. They have 3 cards in hand. We take 8. We're at 12. Depending on if our opponent has some appropriate way to deal with this Cranial Plating, they might just be dead here. Play Plating. Put it on Ornithopter. Go to combat. Attack, attack. What you got, opponent? They didn't have a force, that was great. They could have a Beseiju or another Petty Theft, maybe? If they Beseiju our Ornithopter, we just move the Cranial Plating over to Mirror Enforcer, and if they Beseiju Cranial Plating, we can just regen it, and it doesn't really do anything. Opponent Petty Thefts Cranial Plating, that makes sense. A little bit annoying, but they take 4. We can recast the Plating. If we recast the Plating, we take 10, and we're dead to a Fire and Ice. So I think I wait and block Shardless Agent with Memnite instead of doing that. Luckily, we're in a spot where if they just go removal spell on Memnite and then attack, we can still survive. And then they can counter our first Cranial Plating. We can play the second Cranial Plating and kill them with that one possibly. Not that bad. Opponent attacks, attacks, attacks. Okay. Let's block with Memnite, regen the Memnite. Brazen Borrower can block Ornithopter, but it can't block Mirror Enforcer or Memnite. They could also have another Cascade spell to block with by surprise, in which case putting Cranial Plating on Ornithopter is a little bit better. I'd like to draw an untapped land, is what I'd like the best, because then I can play Cranial Plating, equip it, and then also re-equip with both the Misfault Bridges without much of an opportunity cost. Opponent plays Prismari Command, okay. Do you have a removal spell for the Memnite? 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have them quite dead. We draw Thought Monitor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play Cranial Plating. Hopefully opponent doesn't have anything. Play Thought Monitor. Please keep not having anything. We draw 2. Welding Jar. And I think we have enough artifacts to kill them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we definitely should. I'll play out Springleaf Drum 2 just in case. And moment of truth. Equip Plating to Memnite. Go to combat. Do you have it, opponent? Hooray! Alright, so what do we want against them? Metallic Rebukes are pretty good. Pretty much nothing else is decent against them. They don't really care about their graveyard at all. Pithing Needle, I guess, can hit fetch lands, but it doesn't really hit like Planeswalkers or anything else against them. It could hit Boseiju, I guess, technically, or Otawara, so it's worth considering. But Memnites are very bad against them because they're going to have a lot of Furies, and Relics are bad against them, so we can just cut those too. I think I'm just going to run it back like this. I like Gingerbrute because it can break up the monotony of a board if it gets really jammed up, because they can have a lot of creatures. They can have a lot of creatures to block with, both in the air and on the ground, but they don't have anything with haste that I know of. So Gingerbrute's pretty solid for that. Alright, this hand has Mistvault Bridge, Treasure Vault, Cranial Plating, Frogmite, Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor, Nettlecyst. This could be decent. I'm leaning towards keeping it. It goes turn 1 Mistvault Bridge, turn 2 Treasure Vault, Cranial Plating. We hope that they don't force those two things away, and then maybe we can do stuff afterwards. Nettlecyst is really nice against them. Opponent kept 7. Let's keep it. This hand definitely falls apart to a force, since we don't have a Rebuke early to protect ourselves with, but we'll see what happens. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills, gets a Stomping Ground, down to 17, and suspends Crashing Footfalls. Okay, opponent has 5 cards in hand. We draw Sojourner's Companion, play Mistvault Bridge, and pass. So I think I'm just going to cycle the Sojourner's Companion for a land instead of playing Cranial Plating if I don't draw land this following turn, to make sure that I hit my turn 3 land on time. Opponent plays Misty Rainforest. We draw Metallic Rebuke, interesting. Let's play Treasure Vault, pass the turn. I am going to cycle this Sojourner's Companion. Opponent cracks Misty, gets a Stomping Ground, tapped, alright. Opponent untaps, rolls down Crashing Footfalls, plays Otawara. Are they going to go for the Shardless Agent here? It looks like they probably are. They do, okay. So they haven't forced yet. They might not have been tempted to yet since we only have the Treasure Vault, but hopefully that means they don't have Artifact Destruction. And hopefully we can use this Nettlecyst to stabilize here. Alright, let's cycle Companion. Get a Darksteel Citadel. We draw. Urza's Saga, interesting. That still makes a 4/4 Nettlecyst. I can't get it up to 5/5 by playing a Frogmite if I play Saga here. So I think I just go Darksteel Citadel, Nettlecyst, Frogmite, and hope that they don't have appropriate removal. They might force this too, that'd be annoying. Right, they didn't force it. With the blue force at least. They might have the green force still. Let's cast Frogmite. Pass the turn. Cross your fingers. No Force of Vigor, please. Alright, no Force of Vigor that turn. Fantastic. Opponent taps some mana. Plays Prismari Command. Okay. Gets rid of our board. They can hit us for 10. And we're probably just dead now. Unfortunately. We definitely had a slower hand than average. And we've been choked on blue mana too, so we can't really do anything with that. We draw Urza's Saga. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can cast Thought Monitor, block a Shardless Agent, take 8, take a bunch of damage again. I mean, I guess I might as well see what happens, right? But I have to play the Monitor here just so I don't die. And they could still just have a removal spell or like a burn spell. Perhaps. We draw 2 cards. We see nothing. And what you got, opponent? We know they have at least 2 more Trampley 4/4s coming down, and I think that's really what's going to kill us here. They play Force of Vigor, and we're dead. Alright. So they do have the Force of Vigor. Do I want to change anything about how I boarded? Not really. Nettlecyst is still good. It takes the most time out of everything to actually come down, but having high toughness is very good against their deck. I don't think I really want to change anything else, so let's just run it back. Alright, we'll take the play. This hand has Welding Jar, Thoughtcast, Cranial Plating, Sojourner's Companion, 2 Urza's Sagas, and a Darksteel Citadel. I think I'll keep this. Hopefully they don't Blood Moon us. That would be pretty devastating. Do I want to go... They have Gemstone Caverns. Alright, that complicates things because that could make Blood Moon a lot better for them. They exile Stomping Ground. Let's just run out Saga first and pass. Hopefully we at least get to pop 1 Saga before they get a Blood Moon down so I can get a Springleaf Drum and play Thoughtcast with it. But we'll see what happens. Opponent plays Wooded Foothills on turn 1. Looks like turn 2 for them though because of the caverns. Saga ticks up, we draw Cranial Plating. Let's play the other Saga. If they have a force, they're going to do it now. you have a force? Please don't have a force. Okay, no force. Please don't have a Blood Moon next turn either. Let's play Welding Jar. And Cranial Plating. Alright, they could still technically have a force and blow out both of these, but I'm hoping that because they didn't do it in response to the mana, they just don't have it at all, because that would be a really brutal Force of Vigor. Alright, pass the turn. Cross your fingers. Alright, no force. No force yet. They could have drawn one this turn and do it on our upkeep. That would also be very, very bad. Opponent plays Misty, cracks it. Looks like they're gonna be cascading this turn. They could play Blood Moon. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Opponent passes. Interesting. Alright, we're in our upkeep. Please don't force me. Oh my god, don't force me, please. They might have Fire and Ice. That would be less devastating, at least. It would still get us off of one of our constructs. What you got? Alright, it's an Ice. No sense in tapping that for mana, really. Both the Sagas roll up. We draw Darksteel Citadel. Put you on the stack, tap you for mana. Okay. So I probably just get Springleaf Drum here. Is there any way that I can play Sojourner's Companion? 3, 4, probably not. Yeah, I need to get Springleaf Drum. Saga ticks up. We play Darksteel Citadel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can't play Sojourner's Companion, so we're not going to get this other construct either. Let's go ahead and play Cranial Plating. We might honestly be able to steal it with like a Ginger Brute here. Off of this last Saga. But that Ice was really bad for us. Not as bad, again, I'll say it as like a Force of Vigor or a Blood Moon. But still very bad. Opponent plays Wooded Foothills. They didn't have a Cascade spell last turn. They might still not have one, and that'd be pretty great. And they don't have anything suspended either. They crack Wooded Foothills. Getting a Mountain. And opponent plays Force of Vigor now. Okay. Let's Welding Jar the Springleaf Drum. They get rid of our Urza's Saga and our Welding Jar. We definitely need the blue mana. That's why I did it on the drum. We're not going to have the Ginger Brute. We can cast Sojourner's Companion and Thoughtcast next turn. We draw Frogmite. Interesting. Let's play Froggy. Play Companion. Play Thoughtcast. Please don't force this. I would like to draw some cards. We draw Thought Monitor for next turn. Interesting. And let's go ahead and plating up the Frogmite, since the Companion is already big enough to trade for a Rhino on its own. Alright, opponent untaps. What you got, opponent? Opponent plays an island. They've got 4 cards in hand. They cast Dead on Frogmite. Okay. Do they have a way to get rid of the Springleaf Drum or the Sojourner's Companion? Hopefully I draw another creature or another blue source so I can just Thought Monitor without having to tap the Companion here. Okay, we found a creature. That'll do it. Let's cast Monitor. Honestly, if they don't have something, we might just be able to kill them with the Sojourner's Companion here. We draw 2. We draw Ginger Brute. Interesting. Let's play Misfault Bridge. So I'm imagining that they're going to Cascade here and block the Companion with one of their 4/4s. They might have some other sort of removal spell for it, but hopefully not. And then we have Ginger Brute that we can try to steal the game with later. Alright, they just ice the Companion, that's fine. They still haven't found a Cascade spell, that's really interesting. That's a really big Sojourner's Companion also. Alright, opponent has 3 cards in hand. They're going to have 4 going into their turn with their draw for turn. Hopefully we can fade appropriate interaction from them. No more Force of Vigors or Prismari commands, please. Opponent passes the turn. Interesting. Alright, let's play Bridge. Let's plating on Ornithopter. Plating on Monitor. Cast an Ornithopter so we can still instant speed re-equip if we need to. Go to combat. Alright, no Force of Vigor, no Prismari command. No Force of Vigor, no Prismari command. Most other things we can deal with at least relatively well, but Force of Vigor or Prismari command would be very annoying because they actually get rid of the cranial platings. Opponent taps 3. Did they find a Violent Outburst, maybe? Or is it a Prismari command? A Prismari command, dealing 2 damage to Thought Monitor and destroying this cranial plating. Okay. Let's move the plating. It's not going to be quite lethal, but it's going to be close. See if they have more interaction. Hit you for 13. Looks like they're taking it. And opponent goes down to 4. Okay. So now the companion by itself is lethal. We still have the Ginger Brute as a surprise play if we need it. Hopefully we can just get there from here, though. Opponent plays Steam Fence. Tapped. Alright, they have 2 cards in hand. They are flooding out pretty hard this game, which is great for us. Opponent casts Fury. They have 1 card in hand and 1 mana, so we know they're not forcing anything. We know they're not Prismari commanding anything. Are they getting rid of Companion or Ornithopters? I assume Ornithopters. Yep, they hit both the Ornithopters, and hopefully that means we can steal the game with Ginger Brute. Because that would be pretty sweet. And also very Christmas themed in the month of December. We draw Mirror Enforcer. Let's cast you, I guess. Play Ginger Brute. Equip to Ginger Brute. Hooray! Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, final round with Affinity. We're playing against a Giganta deck, which I guess means we're actually not going to play an Orvar against Creativity. I'll just keep playing it until we actually run into that. It's kind of weird. I feel like I was playing against Creativity all the time before I actually put Orvar in, and now I've played 3 leagues with it, and I haven't seen it at all. But let's see. We are on the draw finally. And we have a blue source, Thoughtcast that we can play pretty quickly, and Urza's Saga and a 3rd land, so let's keep it. Opponent plays Steam Vents, goes down to 18, plays Soulscar Mage. Looks like we're playing against good old Prowess. I've played against this Prowess deck. I think this is the 4th or 5th time over the last few days, so Prowess is apparently pretty popular right now. Let's play Bridge, and let's just pass. I don't want to give them any creature targets for their stuff. I'd rather wait until I can at least get Thoughtcast and Frogmite out. Basically, against Prowess, the game plan is just we want to try to stabilize as quickly as possible by getting a construct with Shadow Spear on it. Because they can be very, very fast and very, very aggressive. Let's go Urza's Saga. We found Cranial Plating, that's kind of nice. Go ahead and play Relic. Hopefully that'll delay their Delirium a little bit. Eat Scalding Tarn. Play Welding Jar. Play Ornithopter. Play Thoughtcast. And let's go ahead and play Frogmite since it's free. We found Shadow Spear, which is a little awkward, but could be nice. It means that we don't get it for free off of Saga, but it also means that we could use Saga to get mana instead, so it's about the same. Opponent. Looks like they're going to play Expressive Iteration. Yep. 2 Surveil triggers and a Soulscar Mage Prowess trigger. Hopefully they're missing a land. That'd be pretty sweet. Puts Manamorphose in the bin. Puts Monastery Swiftspear in the bin. So they're going to have a Delirium of 3 for now. If they find a fetch land, they'll have these turned on. Opponent finds Wooded Foothills, so they do have Delirium. They crack it down to 16, getting a basic mountain. And they cast another Soulscar Mage. Okay. Opponent attacks. Let's block you and regen with Welding Jar, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Just prevent as much damage as we can while we can, because they do have ways to get trampled as well. Urza's Saga ticks up, we draw Frogmite. Let's cast the Frogmite. There's a decent chance I'm going to want to pop Relic here instead of making the Construct, because I do want to be able to block these, at least to some degree. We could play Shadow Spear and Thought Monitor, draw some cards, see what happens. Then we have Shadow Spear in play for next turn. And with Shadow Spear in play, that costs 2 to activate. Next turn, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 mana, possibly 5 if we draw land with Thought Monitor. And if we have 5, we can equip Shadow Spear and equip Cranial Plating and clap back. I think that's our most reasonable play out of this, because we have to play very defensively. Sojourner's Companion's nice to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead and cast Sojourner's Companion. And let's go ahead and cast Shadow Spear. And pass. Do I just want to pass here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could attack for 2 with Frogmite. Yeah, let's deal a little bit of damage to them. That might get them in Cranial Plating range for us. And it gives us 14 all. All right, let's pass. Opponent untaps. Plays Monastery Swiftspear. They have 3 cards in hand. Opponent goes to combat. And we're in an interesting spot where I actually don't have to pop Relic yet, because I can just eat 1 card from theirs and make them get rid of Delirium, so they have to get rid of it twice. All right, let's Relic you. They're attacking with everything, which is very scary. We'll see if they can get Delirium twice. They exile Manamorphose. What you got, opponent? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's... So if they have 2 bolts, how much danger are we in, realistically? Let's block, block, block. I think I'm just going to leave back the Frogmite, so I know I have at least 4 damage going into next turn. The Sojourner's Companion's likely going to live too. We'll see. Bolts. Targeting Sojourner's Companion. Alright. That's fine by me. Surveils, Surveils, Prowess, Prowess, Prowess. Companion takes 3. Please use the last of your mana. It looks like they're not going to do that. If I pop Relic here, they might use the last of their mana to get rid of this Thought Monitor. So that's not blocking for free. You draw Springleaf Drum. Okay. I want them to tap out so I know that I'm hitting them for everything. They Mutagenic Growth. That is not what I wanted. At least the Mutagenic Growth isn't going towards actually killing me, I guess. They have 1 card in hand. They're at 12. Because the issue is they could just bolt a Frogmite now, which I guess is a reason that I should have left back the Sojourner's Companion and blocked with Frogmite instead. Alright, opponent does not play anything afterward. We draw Darksteel Citadel. Okay, so what does this mean for us? If they bolt our creature on our turn just to survive, they're not necessarily in a good spot. So that's something at least. I kind of think I just have to go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What am I going to get with this Urza's Saga? Let's get... How much mana I'm going to have left back? If I put Shadow Spear on a Frogmite first, that might incentivize them to Lava Dart it twice if that's what they're trying to kill it with. How many bolts have we seen? Just 1, I think? Yeah, we've just seen 1. They could also have Unholy Heat, which does 2 damage. It could possibly deal more damage, but they don't have Delirium yet. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana currently. I would need to get a Springleaf Drum here to equip Shadow Spear as well. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Get a Springleaf Drum, play Darksteel Citadel, Shadow Spear on a Frogmite. Does it stick? It does. And it stuck real fast too, so it looks like they don't have interaction. Please don't have a bolt. Attack for 11. It doesn't quite kill them, but we're at least stable now. We're at 19. It's going to be hard for them to kill us with only 2 cards, although they do have a lot of prowess. They play Mishra's Bauble. Alright, that's not a bolt, so that's a decent start at least. What you got, opponent? Other than a bunch of prowess triggers. Opponent cracks Mishra's Bauble targeting themselves. Interesting. They play Underworld Breach. Oh no. We did not want them to have an Underworld Breach there. Yeah, I guess if I wasn't playing around the Lava Dart as the kill spell, I could have just attacked in with both the Frogmites to kill them. So maybe I needed to be more aggressive there. But I think we're dead now because they can cast a bunch of shit from their graveyard. We'll see how much they can actually do, I guess. They get Lava Dart. That's pretty bad for us too. We did not want them to hit a Lava Dart because that gives them even one more thing to do. They're not going to have Delirium, at least, if they cast a bunch of stuff from their graveyard with Breach. And they can only get 1 thing in their yard at a time with the DRC unless they play another one first somehow. They can cast Lava Dart. Lava Dart leaves the graveyard. They put a mountain in their graveyard. They surveil, put another card in their graveyard. They cast DRC. And then they have 1 thing in their graveyard and they're still kind of out of stuff. Is the dart hitting us? Yes. Okay. Are we dead? It looks like we are, because we're at 18 and they have exactly 18 power now. That sucks. They can deal a little bit more damage if they want to, but the game's basically over, so let's go ahead and scoop it up. And hopefully we can do better in game 2 and 3. Let's see. Let's bring in Tormod's Crypt and Grafdigger's Cage, since those are the things I like to bring in against Prowess. And let's cut Nettlecyst, since it's very slow, Gingerbrute and a Memnite, since they're both very bad against Lava Dart, and run it like that. Alright, we'll take the play. We have Tormod's Crypt, Welding Jar, Springleaf Drum, 3 lands, and a Thoughtcast. This hand is reasonable. We have a little bit of interaction. Hopefully we can get something good with the early thought casts. I'm going to keep it. It's not necessarily the best hand ever. We'd really like to have like an Urza Saga or something here. But I'll keep out of a mix of actually thinking that the hand might be good and apathy. All right, let's play Silver Bluff Bridge and pass. Next turn I'm going to be playing Thoughtcast. Opponent plays a Mountain, plays DRC. All right. We draw Ornithopter. Let's go Welding Jar, Tormod's Crypt, Ornithopter, and I can decide whether I want to play Springleaf Drum off of Darksteel Citadel or just Silver Bluff Bridge after I Thoughtcast here. We found another Thoughtcast, so that means I'm going to be playing Springleaf Drum. Draw some more cards. We find another free spell, not quite. But we have quite the clock now, as long as we can actually get these Mirror Enforcers down. We should have quite the clock at least. They play another DRC, and tax for 1. Don't have a second land drop. Don't have a second land drop. Yes! Alright, we're in a great spot. We found another Thoughtcast too, that's pretty sweet. Alright, what do I want to do? I can just go Cranial Plating, equip, attack for a bunch, play both the Mirror Enforcers. I don't get to Thoughtcast, but that's still decent. I think that's what I'm going to do. Cast Mirror Enforcer. Cast Sojourner's Companion. Cranial Plating. Equip. And opponent's basically already dead. Because I'm attacking for 10, they don't have a flyer, and I can just take away flying with Tormod's Crypt next turn. All I have to do is have my 3 cards that I can draw next turn show me 1 artifact, and I'm still attacking for 10 with the Ornithopter. Opponent plays Lava Dart. I'm going to Welding Jar the shit out of this Ornithopter if they put their entire mana base into getting rid of it. Okay. Ornithopter has 1 damage marked on it. Sack your mountain. Do it. Coward. Coward. Opponent plays a mountain. Alright, sweet. We got that one. Easy peasy. Alright, let's run it back. Hopefully we have a similarly incredible draw, and they miss a land drop or something. Opponent is on the play though, so it's going to be a little bit more complicated. We have Urza Saga, Springleaf Drum, Memnite, 2 lands, but they're tapped lands. If we draw Darksteel Citadel, I'm going to play Urza Saga, Springleaf Drum on turn 1. I'm going to keep this hand because it has a very fast Saga clock. Opponent plays Arid Mesa. Cracks it. There's sort of an argument for even if I don't draw an untapped land, just running out the Urza Saga Springleaf Drum, but I don't think I will, because there's a decent chance they're going to remove the creature if I just pass it and then try to activate Saga during its trigger the second time. So let's just go Misfault Bridge, pass. Drawing like a Thoughtcast or something would be really good here. Opponent plays Monastery Swiftspear. Cracks Scalding Tarn down to 18. Gets Steam Vents, goes down to 16. They have 4 cards in hand currently. They bolt us. Okie dokie. 2 Prowess triggers. That's a lot of damage. Attacks us for 4. We go down to 13. Alright. We draw another Ornithopter. Let's play Saga. Okay. Let's play Springleaf Drum. Do I play the Ether Spellbomb here just to bounce one of their creatures and shake them up a little bit? It's probably better than playing the Plating here. They could have Sorcery Speed Artifact removal, which would be very annoying. Since we don't have any actual Affinity cards, I feel relatively comfortable running out a couple creatures here. Let's play Ether Spellbomb. Play Ornithopter. Pass. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. They untap. They're going to have 4 after they draw for turn. What you got, opponent? Opponent plays a basic mountain. Opponent casts a bunch of Shattering Sprees. Okay. I assume one of these is going to hit Springleaf Drum. It might just be all on creatures, though. We'll see. Yeah, they hit Springleaf Drum with it. So unless we find an untapped land, we're not going to be able to make a construct quite yet. They're hitting Memnite, Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum. Let's Do I draw a card to try to get... an untapped land? Or do I bounce one of their creatures, or do I bounce one of my creatures to protect it? I think I draw a card to try to get the construct. Alright, we found an untapped land. We would have drawn this one anyway. But that is at least decent. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. They hit us for 4. We're going to take it. We are in danger for sure. We're at least going to get our extra stuff from Saga. Opponent mutagenic growths. That's annoying. We go down to 5. They have 1 card in hand. We draw Relic of Progenitus. Alright, we're just going to go Island Go. Hope for the best. We're absolutely going to be blocking whatever they are doing. And hopefully they'll run out of steam before we do. Opponent goes to combat. Alright. Attacks. Let's make a construct. And if they have double removal spell, we just die because we're going to take 6. Opponent bolts us. And opponent lava darts us. Alright, well, they got it. GG's to our opponent. That was a blisteringly fast Prowess draw. The Prowess deck is really sweet. I've tried playing it in the past. I feel like I just don't really understand that playstyle well enough to do it well. Let's open up our 1 treasure chest and see what we got. Urza's Command, copy enchantment, not particularly exciting. Alright, so we sort of failed at being able to test out Orvar since we haven't seen creativity yet. So the next video I make with this deck is most likely still going to have Orvars on the side. And I'll see you in the next one.
Hey everyone, Shoe Nice again. Well, basically, go subscribe to Tezzey's YouTube channel. And for those who made it to the end of the video, thank you.